Hello book lovers, welcome to Uncommon Reader. My name is Daniela and today I'm bringing you yet another tag. I'm running behind on about 15 tags, so I'm going to focus on the ones that are time sensitive related to the month of March. And this is the Brontë Novels tag created by Melinda of A Web of Stories as part of her reading event March on the Moors. You do not need to have read anything by the Brontës to do this tag. And guess who's back? Daniela from the future. This happens when I mess things up, and that happens often, doesn't it? Well, this time during editing, I realized I didn't thank my fellow booktubers who tagged me on the Brontë Novels tag. So sorry. Lovely Ellen of Ellen Made Book Club and Sarah of My Granny Era. Thank you so much for tagging me on this one. Back to regular programming. So let's start with the prompts. Number 1, Agnes Grey, a book about women in the workforce. So I immediately thought about this book that I've recently been gifted with by Christine Hanna, The Women. I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with this book, have read it already. I've heard wonders about these nurses working during the Vietnam War. So I'm really excited to be reading this soon. But also it made me think about nurses and lady doctors. This is a beautiful historic novel written by an Italian writer. She is an expert on historical fiction, but also writes thrillers. This book is dedicated to the first lady doctors during the Great War in England and France, but unfortunately this has not been translated in English yet. If you're curious, it is available in Bulgarian, in Dutch and Arabic, so I found out on Goodreads. And the title is Like Wind Sown to the Earth. Very romantic title. And this book is actually based and inspired on true facts. So if you have a chance to find this book sometime in English or in Bulgarian, Dutch or Arabic or Italian, give it a try. It's a very great book. Prompt number 2, Jane Eyre, a coming-of-age novel centered on a female character. You know, I was thinking and the one that kept coming into my mind is Anne Frank. Yes. This book was a recent read with Renee of Beyond Books. We did a buddy read, and it was such an amazing reread for me because I really didn't remember much of the story, yet also I couldn't probably grasp when I read it as a teenager the transformation that this woman went through in just a year and a half in her hiding place in Amsterdam. You can totally see how the writing at the beginning is very childish, kind of also superficial, as you know, a 14 years old should behave like. And then gradually we see a change, a shift, not only in her language, but also in her thoughts. I dedicated a video, of course, on this book, and I will leave a link on the info box if you want to check it out, because I'm also reading a few passages that I found profoundly deep. Prompt number 3, The Professor, a book by a favorite author that is not your favorite book. So I thought about my beloved Italian writer Italo Calvino, but I recently read On a Winter's Night, A Traveler, which was quite a challenging read for me. It is available in English, and you'll see the cover here. It's a very strange story, and this just goes to say what a visionary Calvino was. So the story, it's kind of complicated, but it starts with this guy entering a bookstore trying to find this book, On a Winter's Night of Travelers. And he also meets this girl he likes at the bookstore, and they exchange a number, so they want to discuss the book as they were both curious to read. But when they start reading the book, they realize it's not Calvino's book. This is something different. So they go back to the bookstore, they change the copy, and yet again, they find another story in it. Unfortunately, though, we have to go through all these different stories without end. And so it's kind of frustrating, right? Because you're sort of thinking, okay, I'm reading the story, but it doesn't lead to anywhere. And I feel like I'm wasting my time. So it was quite hard. But with this novel, then, I always like to do my research when I don't understand a book. Calvino wanted to point out that it's not the narrative that counts. It's also how you read it, right? So you become, as a reader, the protagonist of the book. Go figure, right? I guess Calvino's way too deep for me. Prompt number 4, Shirley, a book about female friendship. Again, another favorite author of mine. I have it right here. It's Reading Lolita in Tehran. You see my Italian copy here. It's the true story of Azar Nafisi, times as a professor in Tehran University during the 80s. We are right at the beginning of the Iranian Revolution, with Khomeini going back into power, political turmoil, changes in the laws for women. They were obliged to wear the veil. So also the students had to go through a very difficult transformation of their lifestyles. And Miss Nafisi, as she couldn't speak about certain books, as she was a literature teacher, she decided to invite in her house her female students, and so they could discuss banned books like Lolita, Daisy Miller, or The Great Gatsby, and even Jane Austen. That was banned. Can you believe it? So there's a very interesting analysis on why these books were banned, but also we learn about Nafisi's students, and unfortunately all the unfortunate events and tragic events they had to witness and they were victims of. And it is such an important testimony. One of my favorite books of all times. And now prompt number 5, The Tenant of WILDFELL HALL, a book about someone in a toxic relationship or recovering from a toxic relationship. So I'm going to go with a lighter book in this case, and it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this novel follows the life of this actress, Evelyn Hugo, as she becomes famous, and also throughout her career. The book actually, it's her narrating her story when she's older. And she had a very toxic relationship in her life, but it had nothing to do with those 7 husbands in the title. So I'm going to leave the suspense to you if you want to read the book. Prompt number 6, Villette, a book about a character in a new land. So this is one of my favorite topics, as most of the time it relates to somebody from a less fortunate country moving to, a more economical, stable country. It made me think of The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, and about The Namesake by John Palahiri. But I'm going to dwell talking just for a minute or two about a book that I'm going to read this year, hopefully. And it is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And the story. Ifemelu and Obinze are young and in love when they depart military-ruled Nigeria for the West. Beautiful, self-assured Ifemelu heads for America, where, despite her academic success, she's forced to grapple with what it means to be Black for the first time. quiet, thoughtful Obinze had hoped to join her, but with post-9/11 America close to him, he instead plunges into a dangerous, undocumented life in London. At once powerful and tender, Americana is a remarkable novel of race, love, and identity by the award-winning writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So yeah, I look forward to read this book. It comes with high praises and of course award-winning. So this is gonna be one of my 2025 reads. Moving on to number 7, and here it is, the dreadful Wuthering Heights, a book where a house or other building plays a major role. So I immediately thought of The House of Trelawney by Hannah Rothschild. This book was quite entertaining for me. This dysfunctional family having to deal with a family property, a castle in Cornwall that's kind of really in a state of ruin, and the one who's managing it is not doing a good job, and it doesn't look like he cares much. So the other family members are very annoyed with him. There's so many different struggles within the families, but it's written with a joyous style. So even if there is a little tension in between the characters, I found the writing style very enjoyable, as I do with all Hannah Rothschild's books. And this is it for the Bronte's novels tag. I hope you enjoyed. Since this is time sensitive, I'm not going to tag specifically anybody, but if you're watching and you would like to do it, consider yourself tagged. And of course, if you're just a viewer and would like to answer some of these questions, I look forward to talk to you in the comments. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, support this channel. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Until next time, happy reading. Ciao.